Hi, I'm Phil from Breaking Cycles. Today's video is about road positioning and how this can keep you safe when you're out on the bike sharing the road with traffic. There are 3 places in the road that we might be. You can see here we've got the gutter, which we only ever use for our start and finish. We're actually going to use the position called primary and secondary more commonly, just looking behind me to make sure it's safe to put my bike in the road. So secondary position, which is where we'd be most of the time, and illustrated by an orange arrow, is where we'd be when we want to make it easy for vehicles to pass. So on a nice straight bit of road like this, we'd remain in secondary. So if you see, it's about a step away from the curb, about a metre. And you can see their car just comes past nice and safely with plenty of space. If I needed to prevent that car from coming past because I was approaching a hazard, like a junction for example, then I'd need to use what's called primary position, and I'm going to demonstrate that in just a second. So you see here I'm putting the bike into the road when it's clear and setting off using observation to just make sure I know what's going on behind me. You can see a car approaching and getting ready to overtake, and when they see the signal they wait and let me go. So now we know what primary position and secondary position are. I'm going to show you how this applies when there are 2 or more people riding together, and how we can use this to share the road more effectively. As you can see today the weather's not great, it's a bit drizzly, so I think I'll do the rest of this ride in summer. These cyclists, both called Phil, are moving from secondary position to 2 abreast in order to take up less space and be easier to overtake. When they come back past this junction, they're going to want to be single file in the primary position so that they're more visible to any other traffic. So you'll see here Phil tucking in behind Phil in primary position, and then once they're clear of that hazard, returning to 2 abreast. You'll see cyclists 2 abreast quite a lot because it's more sociable, you're able to have a chat, but it also makes us more visible and therefore safer. We're moving to single file here because we are approaching a blind bend and a crest. Once we're away from that hazard, we're back to 2 abreast again. Riding 2 abreast on a straight piece of road is perfectly safe and perfectly legal. In an instance where a car wants to overtake and it's safe to do so, the cyclist should pull in one behind the other into secondary position. Here's Phil, me, riding on a road where there are parked cars. As I come alongside the parked cars, I make sure I leave enough space for the car doors to be open. And here's why. Phil's a little bit closer. He's just riding in primary position, so he has to swerve when the car door opens. He got away with it that time. It could equally have turned out like this. You notice the blue car? That door only opened a tiny bit whilst the driver looked behind. In summary, there are 3 places where you'd be on the road. Gutter, when you're starting or finishing your journey. Secondary position, when you want to make it easy for cars to pass you. And primary position, when you need to take control of the road. There are also a couple of scenarios that have their own specific rule to them that you've seen in this video. One of those is making sure you allow space for a car door to open when you pass it. The other is just moving slightly to the right of primary position if you intend to turn right, having checked behind to make sure it's safe.